Good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday, December 12th, 2020. We are back for another episode of Conversations live Q&A series. This is episode number 9, preparing your family for the 2020 holiday season. Now, MissyJena and I will be discussing today a little bit what's happening in the 2020 holiday season and how you're going to be able to use the family care kit that Conversation has built for families like yourself in mind for 2020. A huge thank you to the Canadian Red Cross and the Government of Canada for allowing us to put on 4 more sessions for you guys. We're doing 2 before the holidays, 2 right after the holidays in January, and we are so excited. So let me announce MissyJena.
Hi, Marlon. Thank you for that. Putting the Missy in MissyJena since 2015.
Yep. How are you, Jena? It's again another beautiful Saturday afternoon.
I know. I can't get over it. I don't know how many Saturdays in a row that's been now where we've been live, and it's just been spectacularly sunny.
It's all week. It's been rainy here in Vancouver. And every single Saturday, I think since October, it has been perfectly nice, beautifully sunny.
Wow. Well, it's nice to have all that light flood in.
Yeah. So today we're talking about preparing your family for the 2020 holiday season. As you know, here in BC, restrictions due to COVID have extended into the new year. And I think a lot of families are needing that extra little bit of support during this holiday season.
What does that mean? What can we do? What can't we do? What's the impact on the kids, the moms and the dads, the caretakers? So there's a lot of questions. And previous to us going live, Marlon and I were talking about just some of the own confusion that we have about what does all this mean. There's several restrictions and there's a reason for them. Today we're going to do our best to support the families that have submitted questions. They're great questions. Marlon, let's get started.
Yeah, and please, if you're watching, you can ask questions live in the comments. Just comment in the section below, and we'll get to your questions throughout the show.
Question, Marlon, where would they comment? Is that on Facebook?
On Facebook, on the YouTube page as well. Okay. They can comment on the link right below in the comment section, and those comments will pop right up for us to be able to read and let everybody know.
Oh, fantastic.
Perfect. So let's get to our first question here. My daughter is 12 years old and does not want to participate in any holiday festivities. How can I get her into the spirit of the holiday season?
12-year-old does want to participate in holiday festivities, and I'm really curious what those holiday festivities are. Like, for some families, traditions involve hanging up stockings, putting up a Christmas tree. For some families, it's different, Hanukkah. So in this case, I would lead with compassion. Talk to your daughter. What is it about the holiday festivities that your family observes that your daughter is not in the spirit, is resistant to? You know, as a 12-year-old, this is a tricky time. It's like kind of being a kid and moving in towards being a teenager, and a little bit like those who participated in Halloween. It's like, at what age do you stop going trick-or-treating? So do lead with compassion and engage your daughter in a conversation to figure out what would bring her joy during the next couple of weeks.
And you mentioned something interesting about a big thing for a 12-year-old, especially leading into their preteens, is friends. Having friends around during different seasons, like Halloween this year was completely different for children. Christmas or holidays, whatever you celebrate, is going to be completely different for children. And they will usually celebrate this with friends, family, all from their schooling, from their community. So it's a big change for a lot of children.
Yes, definitely. And talking. I think being in communication is going to be the best avenue so that children are able to express what's going on for them. And being 12 is tricky. as Marlon said, being 12 is a tricky age to begin with.
Mm-hmm. The next question here, I have a 4-year-old son who's asking me if Santa Claus will have to isolate after going into so many people's homes. Will Santa get this vaccine before us?
Okay, 4 years old. It's got some great questions going on. Will Santa Claus come? Santa Claus will be going into people's homes. Now, families, you have a special relationship, each one of you, with Santa Claus. And moms and dads will have to lead with the arrangement that they have made. I was both amused and touched by Ireland's response. Earlier this week, I saw the Foreign Affairs Minister had been in contact with Santa Claus, and Santa Claus was given clearance to go do what he needed to do. But in the case here, I've not heard any announcement here in Canada, but I would ask parents, caregivers to lead with the relationship that you have around Santa Claus, and let your child know what is going to happen for your family. Because, some families have chimneys, some don't.
Yeah.
And they have a special arrangement with Santa Claus. And so I think the key thing is a 4-year-old needs to believe. And the belief is such an important part of holiday traditions, whatever the beliefs are. I really do want to preface that people have different traditions. And keeping that spirit of magic alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. How can I help my 7-year-old cope with the change of the holiday season? Not seeing family has been hard for her.
Mm-hmm. Marlon, let's take this back to how as humans, what do we have available to us to cope? And each one of us have different things that help you cope, like different coping strategies. And we were talking about what are you going to do? So Marlon, how are you going to cope during the holiday season? What are some strategies you have? And I'll share.
Yeah, I mean, again, with these new restrictions in BC continuing into the new year, I can't say I wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking it wasn't going to happen, but I was expecting it. Mm-hmm. So setting my expectations a little bit lower than normal has helped. Mm-hmm. But coping with the change of this year, it's really taking the time to focus on what really matters and what is important. So what I've been doing for myself is being able, like on a sunny day like today, after our beautiful conversation today, it's an awesome day out, so I'm gonna go take a nice walk on the seawall and just be able to enjoy the time that we have. What about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Marlon, for sharing from your own life experience. Coping for me is recognizing that this isn't forever. This isn't the way it's always going to be. Looking towards the future, I have shared with friends that maybe Family Day in February is when we carry over some of the things that we would have done in December, carry that into February or March, or whenever it's safe for us to gather safely. And doing things like taking time to go for a walk, finding ways to get some physical activity in, listening to music, and talking about it. Gosh, it can be so much more, it can be a heavier weight on your mind and your heart when you're just by yourself trying to figure out what all this is. So talking to your 7-year-old, helping them come up with some ideas that are new for this holiday season. Let them be in charge. Let them be responsible for, okay, on Tuesday, you're responsible for leading our family meeting, or you're responsible for choosing what we're going to have for dinner. Give them some agency, some ownership, and it'll be something that they have the opportunity to do versus it's something that's happening to them.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is involve your child.
Yes.
Involve your child in the process. And for some parents, actually take the load and the stress off yourself. And allow your children to kind of give you feedback and participate in this year's holiday festivities, because it's not going to be the same as normal. No household is going to have the same sort of gathering as they used to, and this is the opportunity where you can kind of create the new tradition.
And that tradition may carry over for years and years and years, or you may just leave it parked in 2020. Be creative, have fun, and communicate. As Marlon said, he caught that, is that engaging them, communicating with them, and then also validating their experience, whatever they're feeling. Just get it. Just hear them.
Next question here. My son is 14. And we have spent a lot of time together in our condo. With the restrictions extending into the new year, it's been very hard not getting mad at each other and finding things to do. Help.
Oh, I so feel this parent, a 14-year-old in a condo, the restrictions are going into New Year. It's been hard not getting mad at each other. Yeah, there's so many variables at play and frustration, and it's hard finding things to do. So first of all, address it. Talk to each other. Hey, we've been locked in this condo for a long time, and I find that I've been getting mad. I've been getting frustrated. How's your experience? What are you feeling? And sometimes I think for some children, it's a real surprise when parents lead with vulnerability, because parents feel they have to be strong, they have to be tough for their kids. But it's an opening when you can show them some vulnerability, and then they're co-collaborators with you. And finding things to do. First of all, that's tricky on a good day, finding things to do that two people like.
Finding the age of 14 too.
Yeah, at 14. So finding out what your son enjoys doing, and then looking at where your interests merge and what opportunities you have to explore each other's interests that don't merge, and support each other in your interests. And getting mad is going to happen. So I would default to comedy, to humor, like maybe have a Post-it note in your home, like, I'm really mad right now. Give me 10 minutes. So like a Post-it note goes up, and then no verbal communication needs to happen in the heat of the moment. It's just like a cue, a signal, and then 10 minutes later you can take that down and, hey, I'm human, man.
Yeah.
Let's chat.
But it's about setting those boundaries and letting the other person know how you're feeling as well. Yeah. A lot of the time, I'm sure a 14-year-old, as I was, is not very open about their feelings and emotions. So I mean, just asking, hey, like, you want to chat? Do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to do something? And if they say no, that's perfectly fine as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I would say creating something together. So whether that's maybe you guys create a movie together. Maybe you guys go outside and you take some like video shots on your phones. You create a little iMovie or something like that. So create something with a final product to show what you guys have been able to do together.
Oh yeah, what I hear from that, Marlon, is how important imagination is for those small spaces. So being able to really use your imagination to expand the space that is available to you.
Totally. And living in a condo, it's tough enough on a normal day, but being stuck without the availability of anyone else joining you, or going to someone else's place, it's hard. It also takes a lot of resilience for the parent as well.
Right. Totally, Marlon. And I'm just like brainstorming. If I could actually speak to this parent, I would say, what are some ways you can change the ambiance in your home, in your condo? What are some things you can do? And they might respond with like music, light, sound, textures. I myself have been experimenting with different textures and sounds and lights and music to create more space for myself.
One thing that has been really prominent during this COVID era, I would say, has been the use and the availability of online lessons. So I know quite a few people taking music lessons online,
Oh, yeah.
learning how to play the guitar, learning how to play a different instrument, learning a new language together. Something like that, where again, you have a final product at the end to kind of show, hey, this is what we were able to do together during our time.
Good point. Good, Marlon.
Okay, so our next question here. Too much time, the common theme with my family has shortened my fuse. What can I do to ensure I don't take my stress out on my kids and husband? It has not been fun, this whole stay-at-home thing.
Very similar to the first question, and I would say it's probably a common theme for a good majority of families. There is additional stress and toll, and fuses are shortened, and that elasticity, like if you think of a rubber band that's been stretched, and these rubber bands have been really, really stretched, and so they're losing their elastic. And so what can you do to bring some buoyancy, some bounce back to create that resiliency in your family? There is going to be stress. And what you do to release stress is going to create some buoyancy for you to be able to support your family. And first of all, if you find yourself taking stress out, just acknowledge it. Oh my goodness, I just did that. And that's like the very first step, is just acknowledging, and sharing with them. You don't have to be alone in this with it's not like you against your husband and your kids. Like, you're together. And as a family, you can work out what can reduce the impact of the stress on your family, and how can you turn it has not been fun to what opportunities can we bring in to bring a little bit more fun and joy into the family during the stay home thing.
Cool. And I think this brings me back to expectations as well. And it's making sure that your expectations aren't as high as they usually would be, and not stressing about the things that are out of your control.
Yeah. And recognizing that. I think the key thing is being able to recognize what is outside of your control.
Right. And totally. And not putting the blame. So what are some things that you sort of do when you feel you're in that moment where your fuse is at that little, you're almost there? So what are some things that you do personally to kind of take that step back?
Well, there have been times, when you're sort of forced to make a decision, or what are you going to do, or what is 2020 going to be, and in 2021, what's going to happen? It's like, it can be frustrating because there's so many variables. There's so much I don't know. What is the future for education? And so I can feel it sort of percolating, bubbling up. Like, I just don't have answers for you. And I think in those moments, being able to recognize that I need to take a minute, I need to step back, I need to take some time to really think all this through. And so often I've found, Marlon, that when I'm not able to solve a problem, it's because there's an input that's missing. There's another perspective that's missing. And so I've learned is that if I get to that place, just take some time to decompress and engage someone in a conversation that can get you out of that spiral. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So engaging someone else within your own thought pattern, kind of help lend a hand or lend a brain.
Yes. Lend a brain.
Lend a brain. When sometimes you just don't, and it's okay not to have all the answers sometimes.
Yeah, and I mentioned this before. Just because this is conversation, it doesn't mean that things are always calm. It's about knowing, recognizing, validating experiences, and having the ability to observe, reflect, and connect. Observe what's happening. Take a moment to think about it, and then connect. Too often, we launch into a missed connection because we haven't taken time to observe and think, what's actually going on here?
Yeah, very true. I am guilty of that.
Thank you, Marlon, for the confession. We're all guilty. We're all guilty of, jumping the gun, jumping to a conclusion, not having all the information before formulating an assessment, and broken down. I mean, kids, that happens to kids, it happens to parents, it happens to teachers, principals, it happens to politicians. Happens to everyone.
So our next question here, how can I get my kids, 9 and 6, and myself, more excited about Christmas this year? I think a lot of families are in the same boat.
Yeah, a very common theme. And today's show is helping prepare your families for the holiday season. It looks different. It's going to be different. And there is a lot of different emotions that have to be managed, from disappointment, frustration, some that still want to be excited but may feel like, am I allowed to be excited? There's so many things going on. So you're going to have mixed emotions. And at age 9 and 6, you want to get excited about Christmas this year. Talk to your 9 and 6-year-old, like, what would make Christmas more exciting this year? Given that we have restrictions. So within the parameter of the restrictions, if anything is possible and we can still keep safe, what would make it more exciting? And you're going to get your answer from your kids. And then ask yourself, share with your kids.
What are you doing this year, Jena? What are you doing this year to make things, make this the best holiday season that you can make it?
I think that words are going to matter more this year than ever before. Words, communication, being able to, instead of just handing a gift off to somebody, being able to spend your time virtually on the phone, being able to communicate how important that person is in your life, to me is a very small, important step in trying to bridge the difference of what it, not having that physical presence, right? How can I use my words for that person to know how much they mean to me? And I will have to navigate, just like many other families will. Who are you going to talk to when, by Zoom or Skype? And I think I'm going to take the lead for my family in figuring out what we can do when it's safe on the other side in 2021, to have some sort of family type celebration, bring people together when it is safe. And then that's something that people can look forward to.
May I suggest, when things are all good, taking a nice vacation with your family. Getting out of your location that you've been in for the last how long, and really travel to a new area that you've never experienced before, or somewhere familiar that you haven't been able to travel to this year.
I think my family would agree that I want to go where there is snow. I want to go where there is lakes and fog and mist. And so I love just you creating that scenario. I could use my imagination to picture being at a cabin, maybe up in Whistler, with my family for a couple of days. That would be beautiful when things are safe.
Yeah, it's planning like that. Yeah. But even planning like that now, that's the expectation for the new year, and it's something just to get excited about.
Yeah, it gives you hope. It gives you like something's going to happen. I have something to look forward to. The holidays come and go so fast. So maybe if we could, I invite people to consider, to some degree, the holidays have been extended indefinitely. we can look forward to the holidays showing up at various times throughout the next year.
But make a plan for what you're going to do. Maybe that's your holiday gift to each other this year. Make a plan for what you want to do when this is over.
Yes.
What you want to do. What are your top 3 things that you really want to go do that you haven't been able to do?
I love it.
Maybe it's going out to dinner at your favorite restaurant with all your family. Maybe it's jumping on a plane somewhere for a weekend. Maybe it's just a road trip.
Yeah.
Something.
And I can also picture, that's beautiful, Marlon, like even for just something that doesn't cost as much money as like grabbing your 2 or 3 and getting a hot chocolate and going for a walk along the water and talking about life. Like, what have you accomplished in your life that you're proud of? What are your disappointments? Just getting connected and human with each other. It's beautiful, Marlon.
We have one more question.
Okay.
So let's get to the question, and then we'll show you guys all about the family care kit again.
Okay.
We'll bring you back to it, show you how you can get your own copy of the family care kit as well.
Thank you, Marlon.
This next question, this is the first year we won't be gathering as a family for the holiday season. I can visibly see that my son is upset and has been upset for 6+ months. How can I get him to a more positive mindset? And I think this kind of brings us back to the question we just had, setting out expectations for the next year, setting those plans and what you want to do to accomplish those goals. What would be your suggestion?
Yeah, what I'm really present to in this question, Marlon, is that how important the holidays can be for kids. We can kind of forget that as adults, how much it matters. At least when I see this question, I'm reminded that the son is upset, visibly upset. So get his upset, understand where the upset is coming from, and talk to them and find out what would help bring some joy, excitement, magic back into your family and gathering as a big group. Some of those, maybe not being able to see some cousins or some relatives or grandpa. This is a different time. And honestly, Marlon, like the thing that is right there in my mind is like when I got the chicken pox when I was a kid. I think I was, I don't know, 10 or 11. I got the chicken pox, and like that restricted a lot of things for me. And I didn't know, like I didn't understand what the chicken pox were. But in my neighborhood, the moms decided to send all the kids over to my house, so all the kids got the chicken pox at the same time, and that was that. Like it was all kinds of unusual for me to understand, and I still don't think I understand what happened there. But it restricted, like when something happens, it restricts your ability to move and interact and like understand that children don't have the life experience to process some of the things that are happening right now. So being more patient than you think necessary, being more compassionate than you think necessary, being more curious is going to really help your son process their upset and turn it into something that could be positive. You got to work through the storm before you can get to the sunshine.
Work through the storm before you get to the sunshine. Well, everybody, that's all we have for questions, unless anyone has any questions live. But we'd like to show you the family care kit and how you're able to get your own copy of the family care kit. Yes. So we're going to go and show you exactly how to get it.
So you go to conversation.org for families.
Yeah. So here's the website. You go to click on For Families. And then here's the link to the family care kit.
And you just click that download button.
Fill out the information, download the kit, and you'll be able to get that right away into a PDF form. And this is exactly what it looks like. We'll show you here. I'm so
oh. Yeah, show them. This is what it's going to look like. So excited to be able to share this resource with families, especially during these challenging times. Marlon?
Yes.
I want to say that yesterday I received my own copy of a printed version of the family care kit. And it's so lovely to hold in my hand. I'm going to ask you, pick a number from 1 to 5. 3. Okay. And now pick a number. Hang on one second. Pick a number from 1 to 5 again.
2.
Okay. So the first 1 to 5 landed on emotions, and the second one landed on the crossword puzzle. So there are a variety of different activities that families can do. And here's the crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
Be like a little trivia for your family. And things are acceptable. What is that? The feeling of happiness and well-being. So being able to talk about, address emotions in different contexts, like using a crossword puzzle, trying to figure it all out. So we invite families to take up the available resource for you through conversation.org. We all of us care so much to see smiles on your faces and joy in your heart and a collective sense of knowing we are going through this together. We may be individual and separate little Zoom frames and homes, but there's I want to say one heartbeat. One heartbeat. We're all in this together. Our hearts are beating, and we're gonna figure this out. Stay safe. As Dr. Bonnie Henry says, be kind, be calm, be safe.
Be kind, be calm, be safe. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on this, again, beautiful Saturday. It's December 12th, 2020. Join us next Saturday for another live session. That'll be the last one before the holidays, and then we'll be right back to you in the new year with 2 more episodes in early January. And make sure you get your family care kit online. Again, it doesn't cost anything. It's free of charge. Just fill out the information and you'll get it emailed right away to you, and you'll get the PDF.
It won't even be an email. They'll just get it on the screen. Like, boom, done. And I want to thank the Canadian Red Cross and the Government of Canada for selecting Conversation to support families during this time.
Exactly. Thank you very much, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye-bye.